Hello, my name is Kurt Gibson, and I'm on the administrative staff here at the Illinois High School Association, and I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this short video that we've put together to try and address and speak to some of the topics that are going to come up over the next few days for your school, if your school is fortunate enough to qualify for our boys basketball state finals in Peoria. We know that the turnaround time from Super Sectional Tuesday until you show up in Peoria on Thursday is a pretty tight window, and there are a lot of questions that can come up during that time. And so we've tried to put together a couple of videos, this being one of them, to help you navigate that process. You should have already received a video specific to ticketing for the state finals, and I would ask that if you have not had the chance to view that you do so. And if you have questions, you can contact either myself or Tammy Craig or Brandy Waters, who are in that earlier video with me. They handle a lot of the ticketing questions and requests that come to our office during the basketball season. So between the three of us, we can help you with the ticketing questions that you might have. In this short video, though, I want to talk a little bit about some other items that will also come into play. Once your school wins the Super Sectional game on Tuesday, you'll be presented with a box. Looks like this. And inside the box is going to be what we think is all the information you need to get from that moment until your team shows up in Peoria on Thursday afternoon for their shoot-around. It contains information on tickets, passes, awards, and a lot of other things. And near the top of that, once you open the box up, inside the box is going to be a special instructions bulletin. It'll be on green paper like you see here. And inside of here is contact information for some of the key people in Peoria, as well as information, extensive information on a much wider range of topics that I'm going to cover in this video. I'd encourage you to print this or make copies as needed. This will also be available online, but have some of the key people with your school review this in advance of the tournament. And if you have any questions over anything you see in here before Thursday, feel free to reach out to me at the IHSA office, and we'll be happy to help. One of the questions that comes up in once a school qualifies for the state finals has to do with lodging. We're fortunate to work with the Pere Marquette and Courtyard Inn hotels in downtown Peoria. They're just a block away from the arena, and those hotels will house the entire tournament for both weekends of our boys state finals. Each participating school will have 15 rooms held in reserve for them. How your school chooses to use those rooms for players, coaches, cheerleaders, whomever, is entirely up to each school's discretion. The cost of those rooms also will be paid for by the school. Your school will receive a stipend for qualifying for the state final that's based on a flat fee plus some mileage. We'll talk more about that on Thursday evening at our pre-tournament school administrators and coaches meeting, but the costs associated with the hotel rooms are paid for by the school. And inside the special instructions bulletin, there is a contact for the hotel. We would encourage you on Wednesday morning to get up with that person as quickly as you can with an idea of what your rooming needs will be. In some cases, if you need more than 15 rooms, they may be able to assist. If you have needs regarding team meals, the hotel will very likely be able to assist you, but getting up with the hotel early on Wednesday morning would be a critical thing to take care of. Again, we're thankful to be working with the Pere Marquette and the Courtyard Inn. They're a block away from the Civic Center. The Civic Center and the hotels are connected now by a walkway that goes over Fulton Street. So it won't be necessarily for your fans or your team to necessarily go outside once they arrive in Peoria if the weather's bad. But even if they do decide to go outside, we're just a block apart. It's a great relationship. The rooms are nice. They've been recently renovated. The Courtyard Inn's a new property. So hopefully things will go very smoothly with your hotel accommodations at the state finals. The next thing I want to talk a little bit about would have to do with passes, credentials, ticketing. I know we had that earlier video that talked about ticketing for you, and hopefully, as I said, you've had a chance to look at that. But just as a reminder, there is no pass list at the state finals. Everyone who attends the games from your school needs a ticket in order to have a seat. All seating is reserved. There's no general admission. There's no pass list. If you want to see the games, you need to have a ticket. In addition, I would tell you that we will provide some credentials for your team when they arrive on Thursday. This year I have some samples here. This year we have credentials that'll look like this, and they'll be given to your players, your coaches, people that are going to be within your personnel, if you will. Your school can have a maximum, according to the terms and conditions, they can have a maximum of 15 players on the roster, and then we provide an additional 7 credentials for team personnel. So this would be your coaches, your head coach, any assistant coaches, any high school students that you have as managers or staff people. Those would be the folks who get one of the 22 maximum credentials that go with your team. All the coaches have to be in compliance with our bylaws and meet our certification requirements. We check those before you come to Peoria, but that's really important. And those passes are very critical. They can't be lost. We're going to work with your team when they come to the arena to make sure the players don't lose their passes. You'll want to have a system in place so that the passes don't get lost when you're away from the arena, because there's a fixed number of these that we have for everybody, and they're just so important they can't be lost. So we always want to emphasize that. Additionally, on Thursday night at the school administrator and coaches meeting, we'll be giving each competing school 5 administrator passes. These passes provide access inside the arena that other fans aren't able to receive. We ask that these go only to administrators and not to other folks. These are not a ticket to the game. They don't come with a seat. They would just get an administrator down on the floor, maybe in the back by the team locker rooms. If we had any kind of a situation that we needed to address, this gets you into places that other folks won't be able to get into inside of Carver Arena. Each school will get 5 of these at the administrative meeting on Thursday night. And then also on Thursday night at the administrative meeting, we'll give you your cheerleading passes, not only for your cheer squad, but also your coach. We'll talk more in depth about that, but that's the point in time when you'll get cheerleading passes at the administrative meeting on Thursday night. Now I want to talk a little bit about awards. They're tied in some way with the passes. Here's a copy of an award sheet that we'll be putting together for each of the schools. This is one from last year. But this award sheet will help guide us and guide you on the folks who will be involved in the award ceremony. We would ask that once, and I'll begin working with you on this before you even come to Peoria, we create an initial list based on information we pull from the school center of coaches and players that you've already told us about. What we would ask is that when your school comes, at the very latest, when your school comes to play in their game on Friday, if someone could return this to us as a final approved list by the school, that would be awesome. This list does not need to worry about. We'll provide those names of the superintendent, athletic director, and principal. Those 3 people will be on this list. You don't need to worry about that. It's the next 22 folks that the terms and conditions allow to receive an award that we'll be working with you on. And those people include only your coaches. So your head coach and all your other certified coaches who are in compliance with IHSA bylaws and regulations. And then your rostered players. Then if you have high school aged managers, statisticians, videographers that you want to receive an award in Peoria, and you don't exceed that 22 number within your team grouping, those are acceptable. I always like to mention that now because I know that there might be instances where there are non-high school age students who are involved with teams throughout the state, maybe young sons or young daughters who are ball boys or managers. At the state finals, only high school age students will be allowed within, and not counting your coaches, but will only be allowed within your team group. That's under the arena, that's in the locker room, that's on the bench area. And so I mention that now because if that's a conversation that you might need to begin having with folks before your team arrives in Peoria, I would encourage you to do that. On Thursday, anyone can be anywhere for the shoot around and all of those activities that go on. It's when we get to Friday and Saturday that it'll be a requirement to have a credential to be with the team, be in the locker room, be under the arena, be on the bench, and to be in awards. Again, just knowing that sometimes there are younger age students who are involved with a high school team, it's important for us to have, at least some notice to you now so you can talk with any folks in your community that you need to about this requirement. But we'll be working on the award sheet with you as well during the time you first arrive, first win your super sectional game, I should say, and then come down to Peoria. And then finally, I've had a chance to see a lot of teams play. Hopefully I've seen your school before they get to Peoria. But in the event that we haven't had the chance to see your team play, I would like to request that you send to me a picture of your school's uniforms, both home and away, specifically the jerseys. I ask that what I think has worked best is if you just lay a jersey flat on a surface, take a picture of it shooting down. If you'd get the front and the back of the jersey, both the home and away, and email those to me at the IHSA office, I'd appreciate that. We want to do everything we can to make sure we don't have any uniform concerns or questions, and looking at those as early as we can will help us be able to help you. So if you could take care of that responsibility and send it to me, you'll see my email address here on this video, and you can send those pictures directly to me in advance of your team coming to Peoria. So again, I'd like to thank you for taking time to watch this video. I wish you continued good luck on the tournament trail, and I'm hoping that we get an opportunity to work with your school next week in Peoria. It promises to be an exciting weekend. It's always a lot of fun for our staff. We know it's fun for the schools and for their communities. So best of luck. Hopefully we'll see you in Peoria. And until then, take care.